What did you make of the ruling?
Oh, we are so delighted by it. It has been 7 years that Lori has waited to have justice and to be able to speak freely, and even longer for others who would be impacted by this decision. So we're thrilled about it, and we know that it is a broad victory that protects the speech rights of everyone, even those who may disagree with Lori or others on marriage.
When you came on, and I recommend the episode to all of our listeners. It was at number 407 if you're searching our archives with Lori. We talked about how there was the Colorado baker, right? Jack Phillips, the baker, who did not want to bake the cake for the gay wedding. And he won that case. You won that case at the Supreme Court 7-2. But then Colorado went on to cause all more problems for Jack Phillips, despite his victory. And I was asking you, how are they able to do that? And how are we now still dealing with this issue? And you pointed out, well, that was a free exercise case. That was a case under a different provision of the Bill of Rights. And this case involving Lori Smith and the web design is a pure free speech case. And it's a huge free speech victory. So discuss the significance of what the Supreme Court has just said about free speech in the First Amendment.
The court said that it's wrong for the government to force someone to create expressive content that they object to. That simply the government can't misuse the law to try to compel someone to say something that they don't believe. And in the Jack Phillips case, which is referred to as the Masterpiece Cake Shop case, there was a free speech claim that was asserted because Jack's cakes aren't like the kind of cakes you might buy in a grocery store, but they're custom cakes, particularly his wedding cakes are all custom. They're designed to be unique and one of a kind, and they have inherently expressive content in the message they send. And he designs other cakes as well that, may have written words on them or symbols. So it's not that all cakes would be expressive content, but certainly most of Jack's would be. And the court, rather than address the free speech arguments in Jack's case, they focused on the free exercise arguments because Colorado had showed its hand in how hostile it was towards Jack's beliefs by comparing them to owners of slaves, as well as perpetrators of the Holocaust in a hearing. They did that. So the court said, no, we've seen enough here. There's so much religious hostility. It's clear he didn't get a fair shake. And now Colorado continues to pursue other people like Lori and suggests that their law can compel speech. And so Lori filed her case before Jack's was even decided in Colorado. Today is a resounding victory for free speech and the right of all artists, both Jack and Lori, in creating expressive content.
Now, with all due respect to Jack and Lori, I care more about the bigger picture of free speech, right? Because most of us don't bake cakes or do websites for any couples, never mind same sex. And when I read this order, I'm full of joy because I've talked to you before about some of the other cases you have. And the one that came to mind first was the battle ongoing right now in this country over things like preferred pronouns, where more and more employers and schools are being mandated to say the, quote, preferred pronouns of choice, or they're guilty of a hostile work environment, or they're guilty of harassment or some sort of discrimination against the people, demanding we use their pronouns for themselves, not their biological pronouns, not scientific fact-based pronouns. And that too is forced speech that goes against sometimes religious beliefs, but separate and apart from our religious beliefs are biological scientific beliefs. And when Colorado's public accommodations law, meaning its anti-discrimination law, and the Constitution collide, there can be no question which must prevail. I think Kristen Waggoner is going to use that line, among others, in this decision to fight for those of us who don't want to be forced on the preferred pronouns nonsense.
You're absolutely right. We have a number of cases where people have been fired for using a person's given name or the name they request, but declining to use their preferred pronouns, not using other pronouns, just simply not using a pronoun. They've been fired or disciplined for that. And so those cases are ongoing. And this decision is going to have a real impact, and I think a decisive impact on them. And I would just encourage every American to actually read the decision. It is a tour de force of our First Amendment law. It explains why we protect speech, even speech that we might dislike, and what the value of that speech gives us, the pluralism that we have, the strong republic that we have, the curb on government authority, and why those things are so important. So it's reaffirming law that was already in place, but it's applying it to our cultural moment, and that's critical.
The High Court in the majority opinion writes as follows: "It is difficult to read the dissent in which the three liberal jurists joined together, Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson. It is difficult to read the dissent and conclude we are looking at the same case. Much of it focuses on the evolution of public accommodations laws and the strides gay Americans have made towards securing equal justice under law. And no doubt there is much to applaud here. But none of this answers the question we face today. Can a state force someone who provides her own expressive services to abandon her conscience and speak its preferred message instead?" How broad is this likely to go? I mean, will it go beyond companies like Lori's that provide, quote, expressive services? Because to me, that's one of the battles you faced was proving that that was speech. If you've got people actually speaking their mind, in subjects like the ones we just discussed, it's an even stronger case.
It absolutely is. And it is a very, very broad ruling. Again, when there is speech involved, the court has said you cannot compel it. That free speech is for everyone. It's for the LGBT website designer, the Democrat speechwriter, the pro-abortion photographer. We all have the right to enter the marketplace, to enter the public square, and to say what we believe without having to fear that the government's going to impose jail time on us, which some of these laws actually do have jail time in them. And again, I would just reaffirm the court literally explicitly says tolerance, not coercion, is the path that this nation has chosen and that we need to remain on. So it's a great victory for free speech. And I think it's been maligned by some in the media and misrepresented. Public accommodation laws and non-discrimination principles continue to exist and apply peacefully and coexist with the First Amendment. And that was the court's ruling today.
Now that summer's here, it's time to get outside and enjoy your backyard. But does your backyard need a makeover? Start with the perfect centerpiece, a Michael Phelps Swim Spa by Master Spas. A Michael Phelps Swim Spa can transform your backyard into an oasis. The swim spa is an alternative to a pool with the therapy of a hot tub. Michael Phelps Swim Spas have a water current so you can swim, do aquatic exercises, and have fun with the kids. And because it is heated, you can choose your perfect water temperature and use it all year long in any climate. Michael Phelps Swim Spas by Master Spas come in a variety of sizes to complement almost any yard, even if it's a small backyard. And this is not a long, intimidating project. In fact, delivery and installation can take less than a day once your space is ready. Michael Phelps Swim Spas are 100% made in the USA by Master Spas, the world's largest swim spa manufacturer. You are going to love your Michael Phelps Swim Spa by Master Spas. Go to masterspas.com, put in the promo code MK to save $1,000 on a Michael Phelps Swim Spa or $500 on a Master Spas hot tub. That's masterspas.com, promo code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.